The best piece of advice I have for someone trying to succeed in the film industry or any creative space is if you're doing what everyone else is doing, you're doing it wrong.
One of the best to ever do it.
What is freedom? I think I stole this from Bob Dylan, but maybe I stole this from Woody Guthrie. Freedom for me is waking up in the morning and going to sleep at night, and in between doing exactly what I want to do. What's the secret to happiness? The secret to happiness is finding something you love and then doing that for the rest of your life.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Site Review Tuesday. I'm Robert with Zenfolio Customer Success, and I want to say thank you for joining me. Now, here in a minute, we're going to get to reviewing one of your websites, and I do want to point out that while this has been pre-recorded, I'm hanging out in the chat, interacting with you guys live and answering your questions. Now, if you're interested in having your website reviewed, there's a link in the description below this video where you can submit your site. And in addition to getting a site review, I also offer a one-on-one session to each photographer who has had a site review done to help them answer any questions or assist in making any changes that they may want to make. Now, don't forget, we also live stream every Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, so I hope to see you there. Let's get into the site review.
Hey guys, this is Katie with Zenfolio Customer Support, bringing you another live site review. Today we're looking at Paul Thompson's website at www.paulthompson.info, and Paul is yet another Zenfolio user who is really bringing the tools that Zenfolio offers and making them his own. So Paul is an ecologist, and Paul is concerned about climate change, and Paul is using his images to draw attention to this issue that's very close to him. So I'm very excited to work with Paul's website here and see how we might be able to improve it via this live site review. So first off, thank you to Paul for submitting your site, and I hope that some of the things that I'll cover with you today via this live site review will be helpful for you moving forward and hopefully help you to draw even more attention to your site and bring more visitors to your site and get more folks who are interested in these same sorts of issues to respond to the content that you have here that you're making available via your site. So again, that's www.paulthompson.info, and let's go ahead and get started. So right now we're looking at Paul's homepage. So I'm looking at this homepage, and there's some really compelling images here, but there are a couple of things that are a little bit distracting for me as a visitor coming here to the home page. First things first, this particular layout is going to be using an overlay element for the welcome message, and as you can see, there's quite a lot of the images on the home page that is being cut off both by the welcome message overlay and by the overlay on the top of the home page, where the home page logo and home page menu are being utilized. So there are a couple of ways around this kind of thing. You can choose an alternate layout that won't be utilizing those overlays. You can also disable the homepage logo and homepage menu so that you're using the site header both for the display name or the logo as well as the site menu. So that would be one way of getting rid of that overlay at the top. But I would definitely consider maybe at least shopping around the different layouts that you have available to you on the platform. That way you can have a little bit more focus on the images for that homepage slideshow, many of which are just fascinating and beautiful images. So that's definitely something that I would like to see as a visitor to the site. Another thing that I would consider looking at this homepage slideshow is that there's a pretty big watermark on all of the images here. And while watermarks can be super helpful to draw more attention to your photos and you as a photographer, making sure that folks know that they're not permitted to use those images. However, it's a little bit distracting on a homepage, and because Zenfolio already has protections for your images built in, and that there's no way for your visitors to right-click and save those images from your homepage, I would definitely consider removing those watermarks, especially for your homepage slideshow, because a lot of these images are really powerful, and you don't want your visitors to be distracted by that big copyright C there on the center of all of those images. Another thing that I noticed looking at the images for the homepage slideshow is that they're inconsistent as far as the aspect ratio. So some of these images appear to be more of a 4:5 ratio, something that you would use for something like an 8:10 print, while others seem to be more of a 2:3 ratio. So that would be the same ratio as an 8:12 print. Because of this, you get different amounts of the different images cropped via those overlays. So another way to start to resolve that issue with so much of the images being cropped out on the slideshow would be to find a way to make the aspect ratio of all of those images consistent on your homepage, so that you've got a little bit more control over how much of your images is being cropped in that slideshow. So definitely some things to consider for your homepage. Also, if you have a logo available to you, it might be helpful to have a logo there on your homepage. I think that definitely covers most of what I was thinking about on your homepage, Paul. So, also, I just wanted to make a note that this live site review has been pre-recorded, but I am hanging out with you guys in the chat, so if you have any questions, comments, or concerns as we go along, I hope that you'll chat with me and we can have a fun conversation about this particular user's Zenfolio site. So I look forward to hanging out with you guys in the chat. So another thing that I wanted to mention about this homepage is that we've got these great social media icons here. So we've got the RSS icon here in case folks want to subscribe to updates on the site. There's also this Facebook link and a Twitter link. So in clicking around the site, I noticed that the Twitter link will bring me to your active Twitter account. However, this Facebook link appears to be broken, so that's something that you will want to fix, or just remove that Facebook logo altogether, since that could cause some confusion for your visitors. But I like that you can navigate to the different images on this slideshow, and pause it as necessary in case I wanted to have a closer look at an image for a longer period of time. So let's go on to your About page. I really like this About page a lot. I like that it's a lighter colored theme. It's very easy to read. I think this is a really wonderful image. I would actually love to see more images of you here, Paul, or even maybe a video of you talking about your travels and your projects and why you've started the site and why you've founded your organization. I think it's a really interesting mission, and I'd love to know more about it as a visitor. So you might consider creating and uploading a video here for your About page. In order to do that, it would probably be easier to create a custom page rather than using the built-in About page. But I'm more than happy to give you some pointers about that when I follow up with you about this site and our meeting that I hope that you will attend. So I do really like this About page, and I think that there are definitely ways that you could even spruce this up and offer a little bit more information to your visitors about you and your mission and what you're all about. So that's what I would say about the About page. Now let's go on to the blog. So first and foremost, I really love how this blog is set up. I really love that there's a good blog welcome with this lovely image, and then that the blog posts themselves are laid out fully on the same page. I think that's a really great way of presenting this particular content, since a lot of folks who would be showing up here would be interested likely in a number of these posts, and it would be pretty easy for them to get to these posts. So I think that's great. I also think it was wise not to include the dates for these blog posts, because I did notice, for instance, that the most recent date that that's actually displayed as far as the post is from 2015. Also, it might be worth removing this link to the archive, since in order to actually navigate to any archived posts, you would end up having to go all the way back to 2015. So if these blog posts are important to you and this is something that you still want displayed and featured on your site without being so concerned about their up-to-dateness or their currentness, then I'd definitely keep it around. However, I did notice that these blog posts are from 2015, so you might even consider a few different workarounds for this. I don't think that the outdated blog posts are a deal breaker in this case, since a lot of this information is still relevant, but I would consider, in your case, maybe creating a new blog post that sends your visitors to more updated sites. If there's anywhere else on the web where you're more regularly updating this content, you might send them to the various areas of the internet where they might be able to see what other things you're wanting to draw attention to based on the photos that you shoot and the issues that you're concerned about. So you could even, in case you started running a blog elsewhere, you can change the link on your site menu from the built-in blog to an external URL. So if there's somewhere else on the internet where you're keeping up with these things that's not your built-in Zenfolio blog, you can still use the site menu item blog and just send your visitors elsewhere. That way they're getting more updated content and can more fully engage with these topics and these issues as you're making folks aware of them. So that's what I would consider for your blog. Let's have a look at your photo galleries here at your pics item. So I did notice that navigating from your About page and your blog page, that once we get here to pics, that there's a slightly different theme. You've got the lighter theme on the about page and the blog, and then this darker theme, similar, I guess more similar to your homepage here. So that's something that might be a little confusing to visitors. They might wonder if they're still on the same site. But it's not a deal breaker for me either, in case you wanted, say, the darker theme to more fully highlight your images. If that's the case, I would definitely consider on this particular page, your pics page, which is your group page, that you might want to increase the size of these thumbnails so that your visitors get a slightly larger view. Also, I noticed that the watermark is a little inconsistent. Say here in the Europe gallery, we're seeing both the copyright logo and your watermark here at the bottom. So that might be just a little confusing, or at least distracting for your visitors, but I would definitely consider enlarging the size of these thumbnails so that your visitors could get a closer look. So I noticed that you have pricing enabled for these galleries in your pics area. One thing I might consider if you're trying to raise money for your organization, I noticed that you are charging at base lab cost. So that's something that you might want to consider. Also, there's some slightly inconsistent site navigation here that I think may be caused by your domain name settings. So when you use a custom domain with Zenfolio, there are a couple of things that you have to change at your domain host or domain registrar that correctly point your custom domain name paulthompson.info to your Zenfolio site. Currently, unless one of your visitors types in www.paulthompson.info, they won't actually arrive at your site. If they type in paulthompson.info, it does not correctly route to your site because there's an issue with your DNS settings at your domain host, which would be something like GoDaddy or I Want My Name or Bluehost. So I will definitely follow up with you about some ways that you can correct this, but it can definitely cause issues, especially if folks are on your site and trying to purchase things. And there are a few other problems that can crop up along the way if those DNS settings are inconsistent. So that's something that you'll want to fix just to avoid any problems with your visitors being able to get around your site. But apart from that, I'm seeing plenty of consistency amongst these galleries, so no major problems there. But you might want to, construct a price list that maybe will help you to send a little bit more money toward your organization rather than just purchasing at base lab cost for your visitors. So back here on the home page, just want to do a quick review of what we've covered. So here on your home page, Paul, I would definitely think about the options that you have to remove as many distractions from your wildlife images as possible. I'd love to be able to see a closer view of this adorable penguin. And as much as I like seeing this follow-up penguin, I really want to see that first guy a little bit closer. Also, thank you for doing what you can to try to help our fellow mammalian planet friends. Big fan of mammals, obviously the more complex creatures that have ever come to be on this earth. So thank you for doing what you can to draw attention to the plight of mass extinction of our animal friends. So some unfortunately gruesome images here. So definitely want to see a little bit more of these images. That can mean getting rid of some of these overlays, changing your layout, getting rid of the watermarks, and fixing things like these social media links. So that's what I would start to think about as far as improving your home page. Looking at your about page again, I would definitely consider if you have some video of your travels, maybe do an interesting voiceover, or even if there's an interview featuring something like that on your about page. So I'd love to know more about what you're up to. You may even, since you are active in so many different organizations, include links to those kinds of things within the text of your about page. Again, here on the blog, we're looking at outdated posts. It's not a deal breaker because of the content, but you might just want to create a new post as an update to let visitors know where they can see some more current information. Here on your galleries, I definitely consider enlarging these thumbnails and maybe also charging a little bit more for your print products on those galleries. Of course, your login page. Getting to some gallery IDs. I don't know if that's something that you need unless you're doing work for clients, so that may even be a site menu item that you would want to remove. So I just want to thank Paul again for submitting the site. I've had a lot of fun with this site review. I look forward to seeing your progress on this, and thanks for the work that you do. So I hope y'all have enjoyed this, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey, thank you guys so much for watching that site review. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure that you click that subscribe button and hit the little bell icon so you get notified when we post videos and when we go live. Now, if you're interested in having your site reviewed, there's a link in the description below this video where you can submit your website for that. And in addition to getting a site review, you're also going to get a link where you can schedule a session with me. We're going to go over your website, go over the review. I'll answer any questions that you have and help you make any changes that you're interested in making. So the link to sign up for that is in the description below this video. Now, don't forget Zenfolio Live coming up this Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Hope to see you guys there. Until then, I hope you have a great week.